Good morning, class. So today we start with industrial pollution. I want you to turn to page number 42. Industrial pollution means degradation of environment due to the release of pollutants and wastes of industries into air, water and land. See, whenever we see advancement or development, so it is not always fruitful. Somewhere or the other, we are always paying a price. So when we are talking about industrial pollution or advancement in industries and technologies, which are every day we come across new technology. Every 6 months a new phone is being launched, and people who can afford to, they throw away their old phones. See, this is a very simple example of how we are adding to our problems, how we are polluting this environment. Now, toxic chemicals, hazardous wastes and harmful gases are being released by the industries. Their wastes are being dumped on land or nearby water bodies, while the gases released from the chimneys and exhausts pollute the air. All terrestrial and aquatic creatures are badly affected, or land and sea creatures or water creatures are affected. Besides, the natural resources such as land, soil, rivers, seas and atmosphere are getting polluted. Chemical industries such as pharmaceuticals, paints and dyes, fertilizers, pesticides, tanneries and paper mills are the ones that generate enormous amount of deadly toxic effluents. Iron and steel industry, sugar industry, textiles and cement industries are the other set of industries that release air pollutants. So children, it is not just one industry, but generally chemical industries are the major industries which are spreading pollutants in the environment. Now see, if we talk about agricultural industry, then where the farming is not organic and farmers are using synthetic or chemical insecticides, pesticides, then agricultural industry is also polluting the environment. The toxic mixed water can be an instant killer of many species in our ecosystem. Water scarcity, no rainfall and rise in temperature lead to social insecurities on one hand and loss in the country's GDP on the other hand. So, though there is advancement in technology of industries and factories, but then how are we paying for it? We are suffering, our environment is suffering, and as a result we are also suffering. So at times there are droughts because of such too much of pollution in the atmosphere of the earth. We face droughts, or we face flooding, or there are landslides, you name it, and the earth is going through one or the other disaster. Beside air, land and water pollution, industrial systems often prove hazardous as these create tremendous noise and damage our hearing systems. So this also is a major pollutant. Now, if I am not mistaken, then in Bombay, that is Mumbai, the traffic police are so fed up of this of the people honking unnecessarily even when the traffic lights are red. Then also people keep on blaring their horns. Where is the point in it? So they have come up with a system where, because of this continuous honking, if people keep on pressing the horn of their vehicles, the noise decibel, if it rises beyond a certain if I'm not mistaken, it is around 85, it rises beyond 85, then the red light will remain as such for a further duration. So a red light which would have been cleared maybe after 60 seconds or 80 seconds or 90 seconds, it will further be there for another minute or so as a punishment. So they have come up with this. So I mean, I'm not saying that other countries do not do it, but in India we are becoming too impatient. We are not willing to discipline ourselves. Now, prevention of industrial pollution. See, all is not lost. We can still prevent industrial pollution. So we will study some of the ways through which we can prevent industrial pollution. By taking preventive measures, we can reduce or eliminate toxic waste at the source of production processes. During the time of production itself, by using efficient technology, new technology, the location of the industry, and the policies of the management, we can easily eliminate toxic waste. Through promotion of the use of non-toxic or less toxic substances, implementing conservation techniques, and reusing and recycling materials rather than putting them into the waste stream should be the need of the hour. Few measures of pollution prevention methods are discussed here. Now recently all over the world people are fighting the menace of polybags. So they have come up with a unique method or unique process through which this plastic waste can be reused. Now some is recyclable, they can again be recycled into other polybags, but then plastic materials which cannot be used for carrying food products or so they are recycled into building of roads. So when the tarmac is laid, they mix the rubber or the plastic in it, therefore increasing the longevity of the roads. Now control at the source. Advanced technology can be used to treat the pollutants before they are released. This means converting them into non-harmful materials before dumping. So children, this industry is also coming up because people are rising up to the menace that these toxic waste or toxic effluents have caused, the harm, the way they have harmed the earth as such. So industries which specialize in eliminating the toxic waste of industries have also come up rapidly. And there are certain industries or factories which do not comply with the government rules or regulations where the toxic waste has to be negated at the source or it cannot be dumped into water bodies or landfills as such. So there also the government is fining such industries and factories. Now using efficient technologies. Those technologies should be preferred in which waste generation is the least. Technology keeps changing and advancing. The more we use advanced technologies, the less will be the pollution. Now location of the industry. Harmful industries should be established in such areas where the damages caused are reduced to the minimum. Now children, recently on 7th May 2020, you must have seen in the news that there was a gas leak in Vizag, or better known as Vishakhapatnam. Now styrene gas from LG Polymers somehow leaked into the environment. Now initially when this industry was established in 1970s, for miles around there was nothing. That was the only place, that was the only building or structure which was located over there. But then as time passed and because the government policies were not strictly implemented, and generally the apathy of the people, that they are least bothered, everybody is least bothered. They do not have a disciplined attitude towards life, towards others. So people started living that became a residential area, and as a result there were not many deaths, but yes, people died. And that particular land, the land around LG Polymers, cannot be cultivated because it is highly toxic. All vegetation, because that when that gas came down and it settled on the vegetation, everything became very poisonous. So it can no longer be used. They should not be located near habitation and environmentally sensitive areas. For example, a chemical industry should not be set up in areas of farming. So the same thing happened. People were least bothered. Okay, their attitude was, okay, fine. How does it bother us? We are not going to live there. Oh, nothing happens. People just say things. Now proper waste disposal. The industrial waste should be dumped in such areas where there is zero or minimum damage. Further, technology should be used to recycle them to produce certain other usable items. So, waste disposal should be proper. If wastes of one industry can become raw materials for another industry, then it will really help to solve the problem of industrial pollution. Now, earlier on in the chapter, we talked about pig iron. Now, from where is pig iron obtained, children? It is obtained also from scraps of coming from other industries. Okay, if a particular ship has been decommissioned and it is no longer seaworthy, then it is dismantled and all the scrap is sold off, and then it is brought to other industries, okay, where it is melted and pig iron is obtained from there and it is reused for other products. Now, growing of green belts. Increasing trees and plants near the industries help in reducing the level of air pollution in particular. We know that trees absorb carbon dioxide, so the more trees are planted, the better it is for the environment. Strict government laws. If the laws are there but there is nobody to implement them, generally the government officials are bribed and they look the other way when the laws are openly flouted. Governments should formulate such laws which do not allow the industries to pollute. These laws should also be effectively executed so that no industrial plant can evade them. Now, government initiatives. Government should guide and help the industries in procuring advanced technologies and also in taking up pollution control measures. It is not just my problem. It has to be pollution is just not one particular person's or one particular industry's problem. It is a global problem and it has to be solved as such. Everybody has to pitch in. If I am not littering the street, or if I am not sitting there, I am sitting in the class and I've sharpened my pencil, and what do? I just throw the pencil sharpenings here, and then what does that mean? I have not done my bit. Each of one of us has to do their bit to stop this global polluting of the environment. This involves financial support, concessions, and also securing various types of international helps and collaborations. So maybe there are countries who have managed some or the other of their industrial pollutant. So our government should help our industries and factories in procuring that technology. Now, children, with this we come to the end of the chapter. I want you to give the chapter a thorough study. Please underline whatever you have not understood, and when the school reopens, we'll discuss it. Now, we'll quickly do the objective type. Sugar mill is located near the crop field. Which of the following is located near the mine? Steel plant. The largest industry of IT is US. Shipbuilding gets benefited by a long coastline. Which among the following is responsible mostly for toxic waste? All of them. Leather, pharmaceuticals, paint and dye. All of them. Rice mill is an agro-based industry because rice is an agricultural produce. Government policy is a non-geographical factor for the location of an industry. Climate conditions influence the location of any industry. Trawlers are used in fishing industry. Smelting is a process of iron and steel industry. Now, extreme, true and false. Extreme temperature zones are ideal for fishing industry. False, I told you, the Pacific area where the cold currents and the warm current meets, plankton grows, flourishes over there, which is, fish come and feed on plankton which grows abundantly in such zones. Japan is a major producer of steel but lacks in iron ore. False. Discharge from industries purifies the water bodies. False. It pollutes the water bodies. China produces half of the steel of the world. China is one of the producers of steel of the world. Silicon Valley produces best textile of the world. It is known for its IT industry. So please, children, give the chapter a thorough study and shortly I'll be uploading the question answers of the chapter. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed.